Hi friends, what's cooking? How you doing? Good? Good. Alright, welcome back to Babel on Talmud. Today we're learning Masechta Berachos, Daf Yud Zayin. We are going to start on Daf Tes Zayin, all the way at the bottom, the last line. Today is pretty interesting. We're going to start off today by seeing all these things that these different rabbis would say when they would finish praying. We're then going to go into all these different sayings that they would say, some pretty interesting stuff. Our first introduction with Reb Chanina ben Dosa, the very, very cool and miraculous, I believe he was a Tana. So here we go. Exciting page today. Okay, bottom line of Tes Zayin Amud Beis. Rav Safra Basad Itzlosi Amar Hachi. So Rav Safra, when he would finish davening, he would say the following: Yotzam Lefanech Hashem Elokeinu Shetasim Shalom B'Famalia Shamayla. That you should put peace in the group above. What is this group above? The group above are all these spiritual officers of all of the different nations of the world. And as Rashi says in the very top line of Rashi, in the middle of the line there, Sheksha'asarim Shamayla Yesh Tagar B'Neim Tekef Yesh Ktata B'Na Umos. That when the officers of above have friction among them, have disagreement among them, we immediately feel the impact of that down here on this world. So we want that there should be peace among the different officers above. And also in the Pamaya Shamata, which Rashi says is the Chaburas HaChachamim, the group of rabbis, of wise men. And there should be peace among the students who are busy with your Torah. Okay, I wonder what the difference is between the Chaburas HaChachamim, which is the Pamaya Shamata, and the group of students. Maybe that's exactly the difference, right? One's the teachers, one the students, maybe. Bein oskin lishma, bein oskin shelo lishma. Very interesting. Whether these students are busying themselves in Torah for Torah's sake, okay? And there's a Likutei Rashi. I have in my Oz Vada Gemara something called Likutei Rashi, which is a collection of different Rashis from all different places, from Shas, from Torah. Anyway, so there's apparently a Rashi on the word lishma in Tainus, and it says mishum kasher tzivani Hashem Elokai v'lo kadei lehikaros Rebbe, right? Meaning, right. To learn Torah, lishma would be to learn Torah because it says kasher tzivani Hashem Elokai, as God commanded me. That's why I'm studying Torah, not so that I could be called a rabbi. Okay, so Rav Safra would pray bein oskin lishma, bein oskin shelo lishma, whether they would be learning Torah just because that's the commandment of God, that's what God wants, or if they're learning Torah because they want to be a rabbi. But however, anybody who's currently busying himself in Torah, not lishma, not for its own sake, may be the will that he should study Torah for its own sake. Okay. Rabbi Alexandri would say the following after his prayers: May it be the will before you, God, that you should stand me in a corner of light, and don't stand me in a corner of darkness. And our hearts should not be morose, and our eyes should not be dark. There are those who say that this actually was not Rabbi Alexandri's prayer. This was Rav Hamnuna's prayer. Rabbi Alexandri Basar the Matzli Amar Hachi. This is what Rabbi Alexandri would say: Ribon Olamim, Master of the world, Galav Yadu Lefnecha. It's revealed and known before you. Sheretzonenu La'asos Ritzoncha. That after all, our desire is to really just do your desire. Our will is to do your will. So what's preventing us from doing your will? Umima Akev Seor Shebeisa B'Shibud Malchios. The leaven in the dough. Now, as Rashi says, what's the leaven in the dough? The Yetzer Hara shebil vavenu hamachmitzenu. It's the Yetzer Hara that's in our hearts that ferments us, that I guess makes it chametz, which is like no good. But really, at our core, we really want to do your will. It's just the Yetzer Hara that throws curveballs and gets us off track. And he says, V'shibud malchios. And Shibud Malchus has come up a few times in our learning already. I keep on trying to see if there's anybody, at least on the page. I haven't done too much research, I'll be honest, but I keep on looking to see if Rashi maybe says something, but it doesn't really say anything about Shibud Malchus. But I assume that the simple explanation is just, the fact that we're not, we do have Israel, which is pretty sweet, but, it's not like, Mashiach times. Like, there's still a whole world that, in a whole political environment. Okay, fine. Great. Yiratzon, not that I'm an expert on what the days of Mashiach will be, but I get that is certainly the implication, I think, of this Gemara. That we do have to be, we don't have free reign. We're not the ones calling the shot, let's say, maybe like the United States is. Okay, fine. Yiratzon l'fanecha shetatzleinu miyadam, right? May it be the will before you that you should save us from their hands, I guess the hands of Sor Shabis and Shibud Malchios, v'nashuv la'asos chukei ritzon chaviv avshalim, and we should return to do the statutes of your will with a complete heart. Okay, very, very awesome. And it's cool that all these rabbis, at the end of their prayers, they would have their own kind of things that they would then pray for individually, that sort of represented their greater, bigger picture will and desires. Rava basar tzlosei amar hachi. So Rava, after his prayers, he would say the following. Now, this may sound familiar to some people. Here we go. Elokai ad shelo notzarti eini kidai. Before I was created, right, I was not fit to be created. V'achshav shenotzarti ki'ilu lo notzarti, right? And now that I am created, right, it's as if I wasn't created. What have I done? What have I accomplished, right? It's as if I didn't exist anyways. Afrani b'chai kavachom b'misasi. I am dust in my life. Certainly after I die, I will be dust. Behold, I am before you like a vessel that's just full of embarrassment and disgrace. May it be the will before you, Hashem, my God, that I shouldn't sin anymore. And what I have sinned before you, is it Marek or Marok? I keep on not being Marok Brach. I can't remember. But it's from the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Marek Brachamecha Rabim. May you, empty it out or shake it up with your mercy. But please, not by way of afflictions and disease. And this is the vidoy, the atonement, I think is the definition of vidoy. Avav zuti. On Yom Kippur. And of course, this is what we say at the end of Rosh Hashanah Esrei, on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Marbrei de Ravina, ki ave Messiah tzlosi amar hachi. So Marbrei Ravina would say the following after he completed his tefillah. Elokai netzor l'shoni meira, God protect my tongue from evil. V'sifsosai medaber mirma, and my lips from speaking mirma. What's that word? I'm forgetting now. But mirma, just mirma. Don't speak mirma. Okay? And those who are cursing my soul, may they be silenced. And my soul should be like dirt to all. Open my heart in your Torah, and may my soul run after your mitzvos. May you save me from evil encounters, from the evil inclination, and from an evil woman, and from any bad thing that is excited to come to the world. And anybody who is thinking evil about me, may their advice and their thoughts immediately be nullified and messed up. May the words of my mouth be as an appeasement before you, and the thoughts of my heart before you. Hashem tzuri v'gali, God is my rock and my redeemer. Rav Sheshes k'Av Yosef b'tainisa. So Rav Sheshes, whenever he would fast, basar dematzle amar hachi, after he would pray, he would say the following: Ribon ha'olamim, Master of the world, gadol lefanecha, it's revealed before you that bizman shebeis hamikdash hayakayim, that when the Beis Hamikdash existed, Adam choter makiv korban, person sins, okay, so he grabs an animal, schleps it to the Beis Hamikdash, slaughters it, right? And then you take from the slaughtered animal some of the fat, some of the blood, throw it on the mizbeach, done, you can go back home. V'achshav yashivti b'tainis, I just sat in a fast the entire day. V'nismait chelbi v'dami, and my own personal fat and blood was minimized. Yiratzum l'fanecha sheichelbi v'dami shenismait ki l'kravti v'fanecha al gabe mizbeach v'tirtzeni, that the fats and bloods that I have just minimized myself to my fast should be as if it was offered on the mizbeach and appease me, or accept it, please. Rabbi Yochanan. So actually, there's a note here that changes Rabbi Yochanan to Amar Rabbi Yochanan that Kiav Messiah Rabbi Meir Sifra de Eov. That when Rabbi Meir would complete the book of Eov. Now, of course, the book of Eov is a very intense book. This person Eov, who went through all sorts of extremely challenging existential challenges. And Rashi says, Al Shem She'Eov Niftar B'Shem Tov, and he died with a good name at the end. So he says, Amar Hachad, Rabbi Meir would say the following: So if Adam Lamus, in the end, every person will die. V'sof behema l'shchita, and every animal will be slaughtered. Okay? V'akol l'misei momdim, and so if we add it up, basically, all living things are going to die. Ashrei mi shegadel b'Torah, happy is he who grew up with Torah. V'amalo b'Torah, and his toil is in Torah. Bosanachas ruach liyotzro, and he makes enjoyment, I guess, for his creator. V'gadol b'shem tov, and he grows up with a good name. V'niftar b'shem tov, and he dies with a good name. Mina olam, from the world. V'alav amar Shlomo, and about this person who we have just described, Shlomo says, Tov shem mishem and tov, that a good name is better than good oil. And the Metzudas David explains, because good oil may have a good smell, but it gets weaker over time, whereas a good name only gets stronger over time. V'yom hamavis miyom hivaldo, and the day that a person dies is better than the day he's born, because the day he's born, what is he? He's a little baby, hasn't done anything. But the day that he dies, if he did something productive and favorable with his life, so he'll be remembered in that way, and his legacy will live on. Which is also similar to that thing that we saw the other day, right? Right, Ke'en Biltecha, right? And we said Ke'en Levaloscha, that you outlive your creations, but our creations outlive us. Our legacy outlives us. Okay, now we're moving on to these Margale Befumes, right? That all these rabbis had these certain pearls of wisdom, or pearls, these phrases that they would say. So Margale Befume de Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir would say the following: that this seems to be from the perspective of God, right? That like God is saying, learn with all of your heart and all of your soul to know my ways, and to come early to the doors of my Torah. And we saw that Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi on Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, Daf Ches Amud Aleph, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, he imparted with his children that they should always get to shul early, and we invoked a pasuk which says, Ashrei Adam, happy is the man, Shomer li lishkod al dasosa yom yom, to come early, who listens to me, to come early to my doors every single day, Lishmor mezuzos psachai, to guard the doorposts of my doors. And over here we're seeing a similar thing, right? That to come early to my door, the doors of my Torah. Nitzor torasi bilibcha, guard my Torah in your heart. V'neged einecha tiye yirasi, and opposite your eyes should be my fear. Shmor picha mikol chet, guard your mouth from all sin. V'taher v'kadesh atzmecha, and purify and make yourself holy. Mikol oshma, from all guilt. V'avon, and sin. V'ani eya imcha b'chol makom, and I will be with you in every place. Margla b'fumayu d'Rabbanan d'Yavne. Oh, there was a pearl in the rabbis of Yavne. Well, who are the rabbis of Yavne? Basically, of course, the rabbis once upon a time they were in Jerusalem in the temple. But at one point during the Roman when they were giving the Yidden a hard time, they all ran away to the north to Yavne. Anyway, so the rabbis of Yavne, they would say, this is a really interesting kind of little thing. Ani Birya, they would say, look, I am just a creation. V'chaverai birya. And my friend over there, he's also just a creation. Ani melachti be'ir. I have fancy work. I work in the metropolis. I work in the city, in New York City, right? I'm a rabbi. I have good mechubad work. V'hu melachto basada. He works hard in the field, planting, growing food, real physical work. Ani mashkim l'machti v'hu mashkim l'machto. Now I, wake up early and I go to my fancy work in the city. He wakes up early and he goes to work in this field. Just like he doesn't strive to, want to take my job, I also don't strive to want to have his job. Vishema Tomar, maybe you're going to say, of course he doesn't try to have your job. If he would try to have my job of being a Torah scholar and study all day, what would he be able to accomplish? Right? He's a simple person. He can't learn very well. He can't accomplish much. No. No. Never say about anybody that they would be unable to accomplish much in Torah. Whatever they can accomplish is perfect, because it's not about a quantity, It's echad amar be'echad amamit, whether you study a lot of Torah, whether you study little Torah, as long as you have intention for heaven. We had a similar thing as well on Daf, Zayin or Vav, Hey, something like that, where I think it was Daf Hey, that Daf Hey Amud Beis, where Rabbi Yochanan said to Rabbi Elazar a very similar thing, right? Rabbi Elazar had Yisurin, and he said, are you upset because you didn't study enough Torah? And he said the same thing. There was a pearl in the mouth of Abaye. A person should be, I think, tricky when it comes to fear. It's like Yiras Hashem. I didn't necessarily understand that. It's also interesting that arum, tricky, arum means tricky, but it also means naked, which they're like the opposite things. Naked is like as sort of, straightforward, you're not hiding anything, putting it all out there, whereas arum is like tricky. But anyways, I think a person should be like tricky when it comes to for fearing God. If anybody has any insight there, you can let me know. Okay? So Rashi says, Arum B'yira, in about the middle of the thin lines of Rashi, Leharim b'chomine orma liyiras boro. I don't know, to do all sorts of trickery stuff, and so that with the goal being to fear God. I'm not exactly sure. Ma'ane rach, so he changes Meshiv to Yashiv, because that is really the pasuk. Ma'ane rach Yashiv chema. That's a very cool pasuk. It's a pasuk in Mishlei. It says Ma'ane rach Yashiv chema udvar etzev yale af. Right? That if somebody is, really upset and he's yelling at you, if you yell back, it's just going to make it worse and worse and worse. But if you respond calmly, so it will calm that person down. So ma'ane rach yashiv chema, right? So a soft response will turn away anger. Umar beshalom im echav, and a person should increase peace with his brothers, vim krovav, and with his relatives, vim kol adam, and with all people. Vafilu im nachri b'shuk, even with a Gentile in the market. Kedei she'eh ov l'mayla, that he should be beloved above, v'nechmad lamata, and nice below. V'yeh mekubal al abrios, and he'll be accepted on the creations. Amru alav al Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. They said about Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, not the Rabbi Yochanan that we see all over the Gemara, who was in Amora. This is Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was a Tana. Shelo ikdimo adam shalom me'olam vafilu nachri b'shuk. That nobody ever beat him to saying hello. He would always greet somebody before they greeted him, and even a Gentile in the shuk. This is another thing that we actually also saw earlier as well, about, if you know somebody that they would always say hello to you, then you should try to say hello to them first. Margle befume de Rava. There was a pearl in the mouth of Rava. Tachlis chochma tshuva ma'asim tovim. That the goal, Rashi says, Ikara shel Torah, that the main thing of Torah, she'ima tshuva ma'asim tovim, that it should be accompanied with repentance and good deeds. Shelo yeh adam koreh v'shona uvoid ba'avu v'imo v'rabo uv'mishu gadol mimenu b'chachma v'minyan. That you shouldn't have a person who is, studying Chumash, and he's learning Mishnayos, and yet he's kicking his father and his mother and his teacher, somebody who's greater than him, whether it's in wisdom or number, right? To just ignore, like what the consensus of rabbis is. Shneimar, as it says, Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem, that the beginning of wisdom is to first fear God. Not to just be haughty and ignore everybody and rebel against them. Rebel in a bad way. Rebelling in a good way is, of course, good. Now, the way I learned the Gemara is that he then divides it. He now analyzes the second part of the pasuk, which is Seichel Tov L'Chol Oseim. When it says, good intellect, good seichel for those who do them. So, what does that mean? So, okay, there's different ways of reading the next word, but I'll just leave it how it is. Le'osim lo ne'amar el le'osehem. Right? To those who do, it doesn't say. It says le'osehem, those who do them with a hey. And the way I learned it is le'osim lishma, meaning le'osim lishma. Those who do it, this hey is like represents Hashem. To those who do it for the sake of Hashem, v'lo le'osim shelo lishma. But not those who do it not for the sake of God. V'chol ha'oseh shelo lishma noach lo shelo nivra. Anybody who does things shelo lishma. Oh, that's interesting. Anybody who does some shelo lishma, better that he should not have been born, which is very interesting because a few very interesting things here. That first we said earlier on the page, right, that Rav Safra's prayer was that that there should be peace among the students of Torah, even if they're learning shelo lishma, right? B'chol oskin shelo lishma, yiratzon shu oskin lishma. That not that they should not have been born. No, it's fine that they're born, but we just hope that they will eventually do things lishma. Whereas over here we're saying that better that he shouldn't have been born. But at the same time, so now I actually understand it. That Rashi says, let's read this Rashi. Osa shelo lishma noach shelo nivra, perush she'eno lomed k'dei l'kaim el l'kanter. Now it makes sense. Meaning somebody who's not learning so that he can understand and do the mitzvahs. He's learning just so that he can get fodder, just so that he can get ammunition to be able to rebel and be rebel from a place of knowledge. And that is very, very scary and dangerous for us. Then we have to really be on the defensive. So I don't know. I guess rather than us being on the defensive, just better that this person shouldn't have existed. Interesting. Okay, and then I guess also I understand why it's being brought here, where we're saying they shouldn't have a person who is learning and stuff and then rebelling against everybody. As he says over here, better, if he's going to be doing that, then better that he wasn't born. Wow, interesting. Okay, fine. Margala b'fumei de Rav, there was a pearl in the mouth of Rav. Lo ka'olam hazeh ha'olam haba. Interesting. This world is not like the world to come. Now, up until now, most of the stuff about the world to come, I've been understanding as referring to the times of Mashiach. I'm not sure that this is the case here. This might be more of like a Gan Eden kind of reality, but let's see. Ha'olam haba ein bo lo achila v'lo shtia. Olam haba doesn't have eating, doesn't have drinking. V'lo peri v'rivya, and not procreation. V'lo maso matan, not business dealings. V'lo kina v'lo sina, and not jealousy and not hate. V'lo tachrus, and no competition. El tzadikim yoshvin v'atroseim b'roshem v'nenin miziv hashchina. Rather, it's just a bunch of tzadikim sitting around with their crowns on their head, enjoying the radiance of the Shechina, of God. Shnei Amar, and they saw God and they ate and they drank. What do you guys think about that description of Olam Haba? Is that appealing to you? Is it not appealing to you? I don't know, it seems like kind of anticlimactic, right? We spend our whole lives here on this world trying to, there's an Indian of Bittul Torah, you don't even want to waste a second, we have all this pressure to, whether it's to want to make money, to whether it's to accomplish this or to accomplish that. Even as we said, right, Tov Shem Shemin Tov, we're working so hard. I don't know, I feel like, maybe some of us get accustomed to like wanting to do more, I feel like just kind of sitting around doing nothing for all eternity and just, basking with a little crown on my head. I don't know, what do you guys, it seems a little anticlimactic. What do you guys think? Tanu Rabbanan, right? So I have a little letter here that adds the words Tanu Rabbanan. So if you want, you can add them. If you don't want, you don't have to add them. Greater is the promise that the Eibishter promised to women more so than the promise that he promised to men. I don't even know what the promise that he promised to men or really to women for that matter, is Shnamar, the pasuk says, Nashim Shainanos Komna, Shmana Koli. Right? There's a pasuk in Yeshaya. No, yes, in Yeshaya. Right? The restful women get up and listen to my voice. Benos Botchos, the secure girls, Hazena Imrasi, listen to what I'm going to say. And it could be that it's, saying from the word Botchos, it's referring to a haftacha, a promise. Amar Rav, the Reb Chia, said Rav to Reb Chia, Nashim b'may zachian, why do women merit to get this fancy promise? So the answer is Ba'akruye bonayu lebekinishta, because they call their sons to go to the local synagogue to study with the local teacher. Uva'asnuye gavrayu be'rabanan, and that they would send their husbands to go away to different cities, to the best yeshivas, so that they could study Torah. V'natran legavrayu ad asnu be'rabanan, then they would wait patiently for their husbands to come back from where they were studying Torah in these other cities. Okay? Kavumafter Rabbanim Mibe Rabbi Ami, V'amrila Mibe Rabbi Chanina, Amre Le Hachi. So when the rabbis would leave the Beis Medrash of Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Chanina, and I guess maybe it's similar to like what we said on the previous line, which is that people would go away to study Torah in other places. So that maybe when they would leave each other, it was like maybe like the end of summer camp. You're not going to see people, for a while. So they would say the following. Now I'm just going to read this whole thing without translating first, because it's a little difficult to translate and it's just going to break up the flow, and it's such a beautiful little prayer. So let's read this and then I'll translate it. So they would say to each other the following. Olam chatira b'chayecha v'achrischa l'chaya olam haba v'tikvascha l'dordorim libcha yeget tvuna picha yidaber chochmot v'leshoncha yarchish rinanot afapecha yashiru negdecha enecha ya'iru b'ma'ora Torah ufanecha yasiru kezor harakia sivsosecha yabiu das v'chayosecha talozne mesharim ufamecha yarutzu lishmoa divrei atik yomin. That's really beautiful. So now let's try to translate it. It's not so easy to translate. It's almost like poetry. It's really, really beautiful to read. Anyways, so they would say to each other like this: Olam chatira b'chayecha, may the world that you wish to see, may you see it in your life. V'achrischa l'chaya ha'olam haba, and may you, ultimately achieve the world to come. V'tikvascha l'dordorim, and may your hopes, be recognized, be realized for all generations. Libcha yaget tvuna, may your heart, be involved with understanding. May your heart have understanding. Pichi yidaber chochmot, may your mouth speak wisdoms. B'leshoncha yarchish rinanot, and may your tongue, speak rejoicing. Afapecha yashiru negdecha, may your eyes be straight ahead of you. Enecha ya'iru b'ma'or Torah, may your eyes shine with the light of Torah. Ufanecha yasiru kezor harakia, and may your face radiate like the radiance of the heavens. Sivsosecha yabiu das, may your lips express knowledge. V'chayosecha talozne mesharim, and may your kidneys rejoice in straightness. Ufamecha yerusu l'shma divrei atik yomin, and may your steps run to hear the words of the ancient days. Wow. Kavumafter Rabbanim Mibe Rav Chizda v'amrila Mibe Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, when the rabbis would leave the Beis Medrash of Rav Chizda, and some taka say it was when they left the Beis Medrash of Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amru lehachi, they would say to each other the following: Alufeinu musubalim nu. So let's read this v'gomer. So let's read this pasuk in it's in a pasuk in Tehillim. So it says Alufeinu musubalim. So the Metzudas David learns it, and I'm just going to translate the Metzudas David, and then we'll get into the more abstract understanding of the Gemara. But Alufeinu is it's like the pasuk says Shigar alafecha v'ashtros tzonecha. Right? Alufeinu referring to oxen. So your oxen should be burdened. They should carry a lot of meat. Right? Okay? In Peretz vein yotzes, there shouldn't be any breaches. You shouldn't lose any oxen. Vein tzvacha b'chovosenu, there shouldn't be any crying out in our streets. So 2 lines to the bottom of the Gemara of Yud Zayin Amud Aleph says Alufeinu Musubalim. Our Alufeinu should be heavy. So Rabbi Shmuel v'Amrila, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Lazar, Chad Amar Alufeinu b'Torah Musubalim b'mitzvos. That our Alufeinu means our generals in Torah, Musubalim b'mitzvos, and they should be heavy with mitzvos, i.e. they should have a lot of mitzvos that they've done. V'chad Amar Alufeinu b'Torah u'v'mitzvos. right? And the other one says, no, it means our general in Torah and mitzvos, umusubalim b'yisurim. They should have lots of yisurim. Wow, who do you think that was? Who do you think said that? Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yochanan? If we had to remember back to Hayom Beis with the yisurim. Neither one wanted their yisurim, which is also very interesting, right? If we say, look, we don't know if it was Rabbi Shmuel who said this or Rabbi Yochanan or Rabbi Elazar who said this, but in any event, remember, neither one wanted their yisurim, and yet they're saying that they should be heavy with yisurim. So as I said the other day, it's interesting how, like, on the one hand, they teach about the greatness of yisurim, but when they actually got them, they did not want them, which is very interesting. In Peretz, there's no breach. Shalote siyasenu k'siyaso shel David shiyatzim menu Achitofel. That our sort of posse shouldn't be like that of David, that Achitofel came from him, right? Right, our group shouldn't be like Shaul, who Doeg HaAdomi came out from them. And we saw actually on Yud Beis, Amud Beis, about how you should make yourself sick for a Talmid Chacham who needs your prayers. So we quoted the pasuk of Bachalosam, Vani Bachalosam Levushi Sak, right? That when they get sick, David Melech says that I would wear sackcloth and I would fast. And that was a reference, Rashi said it's a reference to Doeg HaAdomi and Achitofel, that they were Talmidei Chachamim. Yet, of course, Achitofel, I believe, went over to Avshalom, and Doeg HaAdomi killed all the Kohanim in Nov. Mein Tzvacha, Shelo Tehei Siyasenu Ksiyaso Shel Elisha Shiyatzim Menu Gechazi. Right, and that our group shouldn't be like that of Elisha, that Gechazi came from him. That initially Gechazi was his shamus, his assistant, and then he went to doing, he became a nudnik. Berachos shelo yehei lanu ben otamid shemekadiach tafshilu barabim. And then, of course, here we go. We have a note. Some texts even just included Kegon Yeshu Anotzri, like Yeshu the Notzri. We've seen Yeshu come up a number of times, like Jesus the Christian. We've seen him come up a number of times already in Masechta Berachos, that we shouldn't have a student who is overcooking his food in public. It means apparently that it seems to be a metaphor for somebody who's kind of sinning in public. Very interesting. Okay, here we go. We're getting up to the story of Reb Chanina ben Dosa. Anytime there's a story in the Gemara with Reb Chanina ben Dosa, it's going to be a fun one. So the pasuk says, "Shimu Elai abire lev harchokim mitzdaka." So listen to me. There's a pasuk in Yeshaya. It says, "Listen to me, those stubborn ones who are far away from tzedakah, from charity, from righteousness." So Rav Shmuel, V'amilu Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Elazar. So Rav Shmuel, some say it was Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar. Chad Omer, one of them said, "Kol ha'olam kulo nizonin b'tzedakah," that the entire world is sustained with tzedakah. We don't deserve to get what we get. God just gives it to us out of righteousness. V'hem nizonin bizroa. Yet the tzaddikim, right? So we're saying that these abirei lev, these stubborn ones, are a reference to tzaddikim. They actually have enough merit that they can be sustained on their own doings, bizroa, with their own arms, with the work of their own hands. Bechadam, or the other one said, that no, the entire world is actually sustained in their merit. And they are not even sustained by their own merit. Like Rav Yehuda Amarav, every single day there's a voice that comes out from heaven, and it comes out at the mountain of Choreb, which I believe is Har Sinai. And this voice from the heaven says, that the entire world is sustained on account of my son Chanina ben Dosa. V'Chanina b'ni dailo b'kav charuvin me'erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos. Yet Chanina, my son, he eats a kav, a certain amount of carob, from Friday to Friday. So we see that the entire world is sustained on account of the merit of the tzaddikim. Yet the tzaddikim themselves, they struggle to make a parnasa. Says Rashi, and 2 lines before it gets wide, she'ein loin kedei tzarkeim u'misparnasim b'koshit. They don't have what they need, their basic needs, and they have a difficult time with parnasa. Yet the entire world, all the fancy, wealthy people who are, have the most lavish lifestyles, it's all on account of these tzaddikim. Yet these tzaddikim, are barely scraping by. Ufliged Rav Yehuda, and this argues with Rav Yehuda, the Amar Rav Yehuda man abirei lev. Who are these stubborn ones? Govai tipshai. They are these foolish govaim. The govaim were these type of Babylonians. Rav Yosef Teda, Talo Igayar Giyur Minayu. It's a funny thing. And Rav Yosef says, you know how we know that they're stubborn and they're abirei lev? Because, none of them have even converted to Judaism. That's how we know that they're so stubborn. Rav Ashi says, Rav Ashi b'nei Mata Mechasya abirei lev. The Gentiles of Mata Mechasya would be considered abirei lev, stubborn. Nenu dikachazu yikar de oraisa trezimne b'shata v'lokamagayar giyur minayu. Because twice a year in Adar and in Elul, when everyone comes to Mata Mechasya to hear Rav Ashi's lectures before Pesach and Sukkot, all the Yidden would come. It would be, I guess, a really Kiddush Shem Shemayim, and yet none of them, they refused to. None of them, decided, wow, this is great, I'm going to convert, and that is an indication that they are very stubborn. Which is interesting that we're kind of putting the blame on the, if you want to call it blame, but kind of putting the onus, let's say, on them to convert, and it's their fault for not converting, and not necessarily that maybe we didn't maybe make it as desirable as we think that we did. Okay. Okay, so now going back to the Gemara, and we're the final stretch of the second parak of Berachos, which is very exciting. So we said back in the Gemara that a Chassan, of course, we said in the Mishnah on Daf Tez Zayin Amud Aleph, that of course if the Chatan would like to read Kriyat Shema on the night of his wedding, he's entitled to, he may. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel responded, he says, Lo kol harotzeh litol et Hashem yitol. Right? No, you can't just say God's name because you feel like saying God's name. Now Rashi explains over here, Lo kol harotzeh litol v'chulei, im lo huchzak chacham v'chasid l'rabim, ein ze ela gaiva shemar ba'atzma shiachol l'chaven libo. He says, look, if you're a Talmud Chacham or you're a Chassid, and the Rabbim, you're everyone knows that you're an established, you're a Talmud Chacham, so then you could read Kriyat Shema, no problem. But everybody else, if you just read Kriyat Shema, you're going to look, you can't just make yourself like the Talmidei Chachamim. It shows that you're a haughty person. So says the Gemara, L'meimer Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel chayish liyura, v'Rabbanan lo chayish liyura. Is that to say that Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, he's a person who's concerned about haughtiness. He doesn't want people to be haughty, to just be able to do like the Talmidei Chacham do. And the Chacham, they're okay with it. But we actually learned the opposite in a different context. The Tanan is we learn in the Mishnah, in a place where the minhag was that on Tisha B'Av they would do work, they would go to work, it was a regular work day, so they could do work. And in a place where the minhag was that on Tisha B'Av nobody works, it's a day off, you're just in Tisha B'Av. So that's what they would do in those places. But in every place, whether the minhag is to do work, whether the minhag is not to do work, the Talmidei Chacham would not work on Tisha B'Av. Okay, that's the Chacham's opinion. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, L'olam yaseh kol adam es atzmo ketalmid chacham. And here, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel then says, no, everyone can really make themselves like a Talmid Chacham if they want to. If they don't want to work, they don't have to work. What? By Kriyat Shema, he says, Lo kol harotzeh litol es Hashem yitol, because it looks like you're haughty if you make yourself like the Talmid Chacham. Yet over here, we're saying that anybody who wants to make himself like a Talmid Chacham can and just not work. What happened to the whole haughtiness thing? And the Rabbanan, by Kriyat Shema, they're saying, oh yeah, if he wants to read Kriyat Shema, he can read Kriyat Shema. And yet over here, he's saying, no, the Talmidei Chachamim, they wouldn't work. But if you're not a Talmid Chacham, go to work if that's the minhag. So what's pshat? Kasha de Rabbanan, Kasha de Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, de Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. So the Chacham argue on themselves, and Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel contradicts himself. Rabbi Yochanan Muchlefes Hashita. So Rabbi Yochanan says, yeah, you're right, there was a mistake. I'm not 100% sure if the mistake is necessary in our Mishnah or in that Brisa. I'm going to say it's the Brisa. But the point is, something's backwards. Yeah, you're right. One of the opinions is backwards, and they don't actually, in fact, argue each other. We just somehow mixed up the opinions in one of them. Rav Shisha Ber Rav Idi Amar, L'olam lo tachlif. Rav Shisha Ber Rav Idi says, no, there's really nothing that we have to flip around. The Rabbanan lo kasha. The Rabbanan don't actually argue with each other, with themselves. Kriyat Shema, when it comes to Kriyat Shema, they say that anybody can read Kriyat Shema if they want to, because Kem d'chuliyamo kakaru v'iunami kari lo mechze kiyura, right? Because look, at the end of the day, sure, maybe he's making himself like a Talmud Chacham, and he's reading Kriyat Shema. But at the end of the day, what's he doing? He's making himself like a Talmud Chacham, so that he ends up doing what everybody else is doing anyways, reading Kriya Shema at night, like, okay, at the end of the day, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not that unique. But Hasam, change the word Hacha to Hasam, by Tisha B'Av, Kevin Dechuli Ama Avde Melacha Ve'iu Loka Avde Mechzek Yura. But by Tisha B'Av, by making himself like a Talmid Chacham, he's actually going against the grain. Everyone else, the regular people, are at work, and by him saying, I'm not going to work, not only is he saying that he's a Talmid Chacham, he's like, making a point of it. Everyone's going to notice that, and that's a problem. That's why they say that only the Talmidei Chacham would be B'Teilim. But if the minhag is to work, then if you're not a Talmid Chacham, you should be working. You can also explain why Rabbi Gamliel, sort of says one thing in one place and the opposite in another. Because Hacha, over here by Kriya Shema, B'chavona Talya Milsa, Vonan Saide de Lomatzi Lechavune Daite, right? Kriya Shema is about kavana, and we're saying a chasan is pater from reading Kriya Shema. But it's not about haughtiness anymore, right? It's about the fact that we're saying a chasan doesn't read Kriya Shema because he can't have, because you have to have kavana to read Kriya Shema, and we're saying we know that chasanim can't have kavana, and by you saying Kriya Shema, you're basically saying no, I'll have kavana, and but we're saying you won't have kavana, and you're just going to be saying Shem Shemayim for no reason. And improperly, without the proper kavanah. Aval Hasan, but by Tisha B'Av, what's the big deal? Haroy Omer Milacha Ude'ein Lo Po Chazik Hamabatlane Ika B'Shuka. Right? Anybody who sees this guy not working, he's not going to say, oh, he thinks it's Talmid Chacham. He's going to say, oh, he's got no work to do. What do you want me to tell you? Whatever his work is, there's no work today, so he's home, right? And then the Gemara, concludes the second parak by saying, right, Po Chazik Hamabatlane Ika B'Shuka. Go out on a regular Tuesday afternoon and see how many people are just walking around in the market doing absolutely nothing. It's not such a big chiddush to not work. So zeh. That's how you can explain the machlokas Chacham Reb Shimon Gamliel. All right, shkaich everybody. I hope that you enjoyed Daf Yud Zayin, and I hope that you're all gonna get yourselves ready for the third parak of Berachos. Peace out.